Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a Beyond the Summit presentation of the BTS Series Americas number 3. Here we have the third and deciding game of this first round match between Evernova and Team Archon. Archon looked really strong going into game 1, while they were behind in kills, were very strong in team play, and they were able to execute extremely well to bring the game back in spite of it. But in the second game, it was Evernova that really were off to a rough start. The Razor wasn't getting much farm in the safe lane. Their Morphling was getting no farm in the off lane. And somehow they're able to spread out the map well enough, find timings where they can actually push together with key item pickups, and most importantly, get the Morphling online in a big way. He explodes in farm. He carries the game. They find a couple of picks that lead to a roach, that lead to a win, bringing us to a side in game 3. I am really excited, guys, to see how this one concludes, and hopefully you are as well. Thank you guys once again for joining me for some North American Dota 2 here on BTS. I myself am Blaze, and let's turn it over to MotPax to take a look at the draft.
All right. Well, unfortunately, I don't get to brag because we started too late. But the first 3 picks did come out the way that one would at least I anticipate. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, they went for the Vengeful Spirit first because it's always something you're looking for the counter against the Faceless Void. But Evernova saw the potential here that they're going to go with it anyway, even though its site is a big counter, and as expected, they also are going to pair it up with the Invoker, because it's going to be, number one, a big deny pick, obviously, because of how the series has been going, but it's also very nice to go with your Chronosphere, so you're not going to be having these tornadoes flying in and blocking you. Instead, it's going to be the 8 of the Sunstrike, and we can start look towards more of this, more of a strategy of Faceless Void, possibly +1, because he obviously doesn't have the damage he used to, adding in with these Sunstrikes to start pushing them in forward, and what a great element of control to have for your team when you know you're up against the Morphling. Even though, yeah, he can strength morph through it, Lion's going to be providing the Hex now for them to have a little bit extra to do.
Yeah, I like the bans, though, in spite of that, the Night Stalker and the Earth Spirit being taken out by Team Archon. Yeah, they let the Lion slip through, and that is definitely one hero that can help the Void and hurt the Morph, but I still think that Derp's playstyle really is more intensive on the heroes like Night Stalker and Earth Spirit, who both have their own version of Silence to negate the Morphling's morph potential the same way the Hex does. So all in all, it's hard. There's a lot of supports that'll crush your hero, and they're just going to go ahead and at least take a couple of them out of the pool and leave the Lion in it. Still going to be a great pickup for the laning stage as well as towards that mid game. But my question here is, what about that high-tier Dazzle pick? Does that fit in with what Team Archon want to do this game?
It kind of depends. It seems like Whitebeard always ends up playing something like a Spirit Breaker, a Night Stalker, or an Earth Spirit. Something that's always going to be providing that same kind of an element. A Tusk as well. Another one there. Maybe not. Well, Tusk is okay against the Faceless Void. Maybe with just the whole threat of the Chronosphere as well as the Lion, it certainly is a viable option to go towards that pick. Ignore the whole concept of wanting to put a lot of pressure on the Invoker mid, at least through your more traditional styles, and just understand that if you want to keep all your allies and your Morphling alive, like, get 2 people that are going to be able to really mess with this Chronosphere. And, well, it looks like it's actually going to be an IO. So, new challenger enters the field. We haven't been dealing with this one quite yet. And we'll see what they want to go towards pairing it up. What a great drafting phase to pick it up in as well.
Oh, and no hesitation. They go in with Nortrum, the Silencer, in response. We have IO Morphling as most likely a dual mid now. Team Archon have been bringing pretty clear-cut lanes. Sometimes they go a little bit like with the aggro, predicting an aggressive play from their opposition. But for the most part, it's what you'd expect, and we'll see if it goes under the expectation of Morphling in mid. It's a little bit different running dual lanes. But no, it's actually going to be CK that is buddy-buddy with the IO. Sometimes we have seen in past the Morphling get a lot of value out of the IO's bottle usage, as well as the aggressive waveform with the tether, and just in general the ability to heal this hero so he can stay on low agi. But here they're going to get 2 great friends of the Wisp in play, and I think the Relocate obviously helps out Chaos Knight even more, because while his base movement speed is better than the Morphling's, Morphling has better mobility tools himself to get into the fight.
Yeah, and I gotta say, for Evernova, I was just kind of sitting here thinking, what kind of a silence element can they really bring on top of the line? They banned out the Spirit, they banned out that Night Stalker, but what is this other hero that you can really bring into this? And you already have the Invoker, so you're kind of canceling out this Paco that we've seen some teams moving towards against these Weavers and Morphlings that are sneaking around. And Silencer is a hero that, at least in the games I watched, I don't think I saw one at MDL, I want to say, but I'm sure maybe one of them might have shown up. And either way, it's an excellent pick to be going here. And Chaos Knight, I mean, everyone loves this guy, right? Not too affected by the silence, as opposed to, some of your other pairings there, maybe like a... Well, actually, I guess most of your pairings don't really care about silence, or do they? Even like the Gyrocopter, the Tiny, the Chaos, they're all A-okay with it, so it is just going to be playing with that relocate that they're going to have to worry about.
Yeah, but still, I would have to say that there is some good value just in like the Chaos Knight passive. Doing so much quick physical damage is going to allow them to really gun some targets down. Morphin can go for more of like a nuker build here with the E-Blade instead of the Manta style, as we saw last game. And then the CK can really bring the heavy hitting punches with the help of the Venge amplification, because that Vengeance Aura and the Wave of Terror really sync up well with what CK looks to do with his kit. And just overall, I think they're going to be able to destroy some targets really quickly, and even maybe even have the kill potential on the Void. Like, it's rare to see a lineup that has enough potency in disables and damage to actually bring down the Void before he time walks away. But with a long duration stun, a level 3 Chaos Knight or level 5 even better could definitely bring this Void down, and that's something that makes it harder for him to lane. He's going to have to Iron Talon jungle a bit. He's going to have to build himself up. But one thing I want to ask you about is comparing the Silencer to the Disruptor. Both were in the pool. Disruptor is kind of one of the classic counters to the Wisp. Why is the Silencer better?
Oh, well, you could make the argument on either side. Like, if you want to make the full-on team fight, like maybe you're just thinking like we don't have enough damage or something like that, you could go with the Disruptor to combo either into a Chronosphere or directly after. Like, you can use the Kinetic Field on top, kind of a double layer. But I like this because it does add more of that global presence that we talked about, where you're working with the roaming Lion, Faceless Void. And it's always possible that if they're making more of a risky gank, they might have to pull out the Global Silence just to ensure there's not going to be a nearby swap or anything else to save them. So it's going to be just giving a little bit more mid-game pressure, I think, for the Faceless Void to provide along with his little buddy.
Yeah, so essentially the two spells that you're looking for to come out to save an ally that is Chronosphere is going to be the Nether Swap as well as the Relocate. Morphin could obviously Strength Morph if he's not silenced either. So yeah, overall going to be some good value to withstand the ever-present threat of the Evernova Faceless Void. But the final pickup here for Team Archon is actually going to be the Death Prophet from Monkeys Forever, so feels confident in that mid matchup here against the Invoker. The support Silencer I still feel has a lot of validity here. He's still going to be able to bring a lot to the table in his early laning levels, but I'm curious how well he's able to pressure whatever is going to be thrown in the offlane. I think they want the IO CK bottom. So does that leave the Morphling again in the offlane, or are we looking at something different?
I don't know. Like, they did this last time too, right? Where they kind of threw out the Razor in before, and now we're just going to be dealing with the Chaos Knight and the Morphling, trying to figure out where you're going to be farming these with Monkeys heading onto that Death Prophet. It could just be another case of musical lanes, seeing who you're up against, seeing what sort of pressure is coming out, how these matchups are going to go. Because Team Archon, I think they are someone who have experimented with Chaos Knight quite a few times. We've seen the fluff, even with that support Chaos Knight. I think ESL 1 qualifiers, I want to say, was when that one was coming out. So certainly they have a good understanding of the hero. They know just how strong it can be early, and the dual offlane seems like the home that one would expect when you get the Morphling. And I mean, that's what I would have said last game too, but yeah, exactly. Morphling ended up top, so that's why I'm kind of questioning it.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like with Moo picking it up and with them all making an aggressive movement towards the top rune area to get some wards down and etc., I do feel like it is going to be that CK Wisp offlane duo. It's just like I was talking about, that time walk can be a very pesky thing to go up against, but they may still have that opportunity, as Hook has actually made his way into the Dire jungle and is getting items that you would generally see in somebody who's just trying to survive the lane rather than contest it. So it looks like he will be going into that top lane position, expecting this play from Whitebeard and Moo. But Monkeys Forever in the meantime has 2 Fairy Fires for himself here in the mid lane. That's going to be really good for surviving any ganking presence. Like, even if the line has an early smoke, which we see neither team picking up a smoke just yet, so it'll be with the first 50 gold. But yeah, assuming that Derp moves in towards the mid lane, tries to help the Invoker find a kill opportunity, the Fairy Fire should offset that if there's enough in Spirit Siphon early. Well,
now they're going to be just kind of grouping up here. I gotta say, that Spirit Siphon that you're talking about, man, that spell. I just don't even know what to say about it. It's going to be extra frustrating when you're dealing with both the Spirit Siphon kind of slowly gaining back as well as the Strength Morph. I feel like there's going to be a lot of Fingers of Death thrown out by Derp here, where people are at like 100 HP or something, just because he's going to be the stance of just like, all right, not again, you know what I mean? All right. Please don't heal up through all of this disable.
Yeah, it's certainly something. But now we're going to see actually Jo start off with the Morph level 1. This is something that a lot of the Chinese carry Morphlings can do, so if you feel safe, if you feel secure in your lighting configuration, then it's something you want to look at. But it's actually really bad when you get aggro tried on. While it's mana efficient to do it in the fountain, so you understand why he does it, it's actually going to be really disastrous, as now he's going to be under heavy pressure. Earth Spikes, Arcane Curses all thrown at him, and it's really difficult for him to really get anything out of this lane now.
Too bad for you.
Yeah, this looks rather familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to see a TP rotation. I think Archon are much more willing to kind of make that swap than we saw Evernova, and that's a key difference. So it's going to only be a one-man Arcane Curse, so it's not really going to do too much of fluff and stuff here. And you could say that there's some value in what they're doing to the Faceless Void up top, suppressing him from farming, but honestly, it pales in comparison to the fact that Jo is getting absolutely nothing.
All right, well, Hook, he will get a pull off here, and maybe that's all they care about. Maybe we'll just see the same situation, because it was very obvious that Jay was put on the back burner, like last game. He was completely sacrificed, and it did work out. We saw where out of nowhere he suddenly was major farmed, picked up a couple key items, grouped up with the team, and they went. So if they're just going to put the focus here on this level 6, Whitebeard's even getting a little bit off of this pole camp there. It's kind of nice. A little lecture for himself. Then it's going to be their job to, of course, create all that space for Jo, and it's hard though, you know, like support Morphling, yeah, it's a thing, so you can prove that the hero does have some sort of worth with only levels. Sure. But at the same time, you can't be roaming around in that sort of a state and expecting to also get farm, and oh no.
Another pause coming out from Evernova. Looks like Archon is good.
Hey.
Evernova is good. No disconnects, no extended pauses, just some Dota 2. And yeah, that's good for everyone. But I don't know. I feel in this position that, yeah, well, what you said is true. I think that it'd just be better for Moo to tank it a little bit. Like, if he can just get his early treads out, doesn't have to, like, have an armlet to get involved. Oh, I like this, how he's just starting, as soon as he gets some harassment and he gets to scale up the Shadow Strike and actually gets the crit on the first hit, but 10% chance there. But, no, I just feel like Whitebeard, Moo, they're going to get, like, level 3, level 4, they're going to get the treads up on the CK, maybe a Magic Wand, and that's when I would say you make the swap, and you bring the waveform, or the Morphling to a safer position, and Whitebeard and Moo start actually getting into confrontation.
Yeah, no, I can actually be A-okay with that. You are getting a little bit of EXP starve here on Mercy Please. So you can see he's already, down to level 1. Hasn't been able to get anything else going.
Oh, he's going to have to still level 1. Just to survive here, as the Arcane Curse actually doesn't do enough damage per tick to cancel out the Clarity. So Venge still gets that extra mana and gets to really keep Mercy Please down on HP. Oh, it's gonna be a stun up top. It does little stun, but does high damage. But of course, the Face of Void will look to just time walk that off. That's the ideal for him. If he gets stunned for 2 seconds, he can't time walk off that damage. But 1 second stuns is the one thing he can negate.
Yeah, he'll be very wary as the stun eventually does start to be leveled up here. And jeez, look at Jail. He's just like totally alone down here. I just feel terrified for him. I mean, he's staying close to the wave, I guess, maybe getting a little bit of experience, but you gotta feel for the guy. He's level 4. He's trying to keep himself relevant.
Oh, another 1 second stun, but Hook only goes ahead and time walks off some auto attacks. They're still going to go for the dive here. The Spirits, oh, they thought he was still in here. He was able to go through the trees. They have found him once more, but going under the tower might be a mistake. We'll see. Then we get another stun, another jump there. There is no time walk. There is a first blood instead, and that's going to be an effective dive. Now I feel like they're strong enough to maybe make their rotation. For now, they're doing some good damage on the tier 1, but oh, it's going to be a double stun onto Jo. He's actually taking a lot of damage for this last word. Gets hexed up as well, going down, and losing some precious intelligence. In the meantime, Fluff getting burned down slowly. Won't get the neutral deny. It will be a 2-for-1 in total, but
mid lane as well.
There's going to be the haste rune on this Invoker, who is going to be committing hard. There are 2 Fairy Fires on this Death Prophet. She might look to use one pretty early here just to try to survive. First the healing cell,
canceled.
Now the Cold Snap, the right click's coming through, 1 Fairy Fire, and he's going to try to use the second one if anybody comes in. Arcane Curse versus Fairy Fire. He'll pop it. He's going to stay alive. But is there any support? Are there any TPs? They're waiting for it. They're like, okay, nothing happened. What do? We EMP him for the win. And that's going to be his death.
Yeah, that was crazy. It all started just because Let Me Go went with a nice little cold snap play to actually get the haste in the first place. And top lane Hook now. Oh, he gets a nice time walk. Just barely getting out of range. But they've cut the tree already.
Yeah, he goes for
they got him.
Yeah, he goes for distance instead of damage negation and almost gets him out. But the speed of this Chaos Knight is already insane. With just the boots, he had 370 with the tether 420. He's able to move so rapidly, and the Face of Void just can't get away. He's bootless. 300 movement speed Void with only a range of 625 on the time walk. It's just not good. So I feel like Archon have now kind of starting to accomplish their objectives. They're not rotating. They're forcing a movement here from Evernova, where essentially they're dominating the Void so hard that we now see that support movement is heading up top, and this gives Jo the open lane, where now he has the experience advantage over the Ember Spirit, and he's going to start to build back up his farm.
All right, well, Moo the hard carry. with those couple of kills now stacked on top, 29 CS to boot. He's feeling pretty good up here, you know, just looking for that Wisp as whenever that's ready to go. Just keep on providing all the support. It's unbelievable just how much pressure they put, and by bringing up this line, of course, this is like almost what their end goal may have been, because Jo still gonna have a little bit of a rough time up against Rain, who's someone we also haven't really commented on. Obviously, Ember Spirit in a tri-lane, not exactly the most common thing that you're gonna get. As he actually does go down. Wow, nicely played.
Yeah, just going ahead and having the lion hiding to the north and ready to get the stun out. Essentially, they couldn't bring down his Void at all, and that the 2 versus 2 actually favors them under the tower. But now Monkeys Forever gets an opening on Derp, who has nothing left to respond. It's just going to be a quick kill that gives the Death Prophet a 1-1-0 KDA.
And Hook actually goes into the trees, and man, Moo playing this one a little bit close. Gotta be worried about these suns. Oh, that's right, crossbacks. Yeah. We don't have to worry about sunstrikes. Easy life.
No, it's definitely a natural expectation because the Searing Chains level 2 is so good at setting up sunstrikes, but it's something that they just couldn't afford because EMP brings so much value this game. You get the intelligence steal, sapping away their ability to cast spells from the silencer over the course of the game, and then you have the EMP to really just cement that with the mana burn, which is great against Morphling, great against CK. But we're going to see some good items come out from Moo, but first and foremost, a kill opportunity as he goes in, and there's Tornado. There's actually almost a survive from the Invoker, but he will go down to that last item. Moo will be the trade under tower, losing out that precious intelligence.
Yeah, that's a big deal too. Net down to just 20 overall here for the CK, who obviously, as the fights get later here, Io can be very handy in keeping his mana regen up there, but every single stun, every single reality ripped is going to be just a little bit harder from there on in. Going to be very cautious that doesn't happen all too often, because sometimes when you're playing a strength hero, you're just not really focusing on it, and suddenly you just can't cast 2 of your spells.
Yeah, but his build's really good for it. He's going to go for this Treads and Magic Wand along with the Drums of Endurance, and all this combined together allows him to... Oh, they don't get the bottle refill, unfortunately, but... Yeah, so it allows him, if he tread swaps for his stuns, then he's going to be able to get some real value out of his spell casts, and he should be able to still keep kicking, but like I said, the -2 every time he does go down.
Oh, Jo's low.
Gonna get the Strength Morph off in time. Looks like he will not waveform, however, as there's a very well-timed stun from Derp right before the wave comes across, so unfortunately this Morphling has caught up in last hits, only to find himself be the juicy target of Evernova as they make their invade.
All right, pretty much the prime target there. So good job there, Monkeys Forever, of course. Yeah, putting that little bit of pressure on Mid with the Exorcism. We'll see top lane Hook. They're gonna get him. It certainly lives away. 8 more seconds for the next backtrack will be available. Chronosphere's there, but no mana now left, and down he goes. So it's maybe, I wonder, possibly Chronosphere worth there. Maybe not. He'll just look to probably TP somewhere and actually set up a kill with it when he does respawn.
Sorry, my mouse screwed up there, but we do see a jump here now at mid. Monkeys Forever does get the Spirit Siphon, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough to keep him alive unless the Wisp is able to bring in enough healing. Oh, barely getting him with the Overcharge, the Magic Stick, and a Bottle Sip. Monkeys Forever doesn't have that much HP left, though, as the last sip didn't stick. The tether broke, and we will see just Evernova go for a reset. Despite the close call there, it wasn't that heavy of an investment for them. They'll just get the line some solo experience up top. Their cooldowns will be right back up in a very short time period.
And I'm just looking at Hook here. Obviously, he has the Iron Talent, so he's going to start trying to focus on this farming. And most Voids are still going for the Vlads first, I do believe. In this kind of a lineup, I wouldn't mind, honestly, just seeing a Blink first. Maybe just because Derp's going to be getting naturally more farm than most supports do. Of course, if he can survive here. Radiant Vision, found in the last second, but not enough.
Unfortunately not. The Fog of War is a tricky mistress when it comes to landing those key CK abilities, but we're going to see him go into the Armlet next. He actually isn't going for the full drum, just the casual bracer for now, and that Armlet is such a good item on CK in terms of his illusions and their value there. We're going to see on the top rune, DP does get clipped by all these spells, so she's going to be going down slowly, and without a Wisp involved, it is going to be her going down. Mercy Please pops the global, gets the TP away, and that is going to be another valuable kill.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And Hook just trying to wall stuff away. Moo doesn't even care. She's like, I don't care about you, man. I just want your farm. Slow down the Faceless Void. Jeez, move. He's just so aggressive. He feels invincible right now. Io in the mid lane, they could even go for some sort of a tether rift play. I mean, they know he's there, and he knows that they know he's there. It's just all about the zoning. It's all about the threat of the move, continuing to keep that pressure up and available, and hopefully helping out Jo down bottom, but he's now caught up in levels to Rain. And Rain, I don't know, does he even ding on the courier? He does not, so only the Rain will cool for him. He's not going to be getting active anytime soon either.
Yeah.
Because they're both basically even in net worth.
A lot of these games have been about trading the last hits and trading the early game farm for what would normally be considered the carry position, where essentially, like we saw with Jo's Terrorblade and what we saw with the Morphling in both games now, is essentially they are sacrificing one for another, and it just depends on who gets hit harder. But it looks like right now Jo is getting hit the hardest. Another stack of intelligence goes to Mercy Bleeds. He now has 12 int, a lot from the CK, a lot from the Morphling, and even some from the DP. All of these heroes are valuable to steal those precious stats from, and it's going to be making it harder and harder to fight up against, as the Global Silence, they don't even need like Chronosphere or Global Silence for any of these skirmishes, any of these fights. They just get the kills anyways.
Yeah, and so far, on the other end of it, in terms of the global abilities here, they've only lost that top tower on the side of Evernova, so even though it relocates back up, you don't really feel like there's any sort of an opening here. Only if there's going to be any sort of like a TP counter initiation on the bottom lane if they go too deep from Nova here. As Jo does return. Oh, here they go. They found Hook up top here. Looks like they're going to go for this.
All right, so they're going to make that jump here. Big 3-second stun means Hook is not going to be able to get out of this one in time, but down bottom, we're also going to be looking at the Ember Spirit getting comboed on hard. There is no silence skill from the DP, but there are also no remnants in play, so they can try to chase him down a little bit further. He'll bottle an Invis Rune, and that might be enough to get him out. They still see him. The Crypt Swarm will connect. Rain dropping very low here, but they're going to have to guess for this last
Top lane
Crypt Swarm.
stun on Invoker
He's
as well.
going to almost gets him. So close, but we're going to see instead the Invoker goes walking away. These Invis mechanics really hurting Archon.
Go for it.
And they will go down. Invoker will be falling in exchange for the Wisp, and the CK, of course, limping away just barely.
So close to getting experience from that kill. Would have been very nice for the IO, but no such luck. That Invis Rune as well.
Yeah, just wild stuff.
Rain's
I mean,
very happy.
He was trying to like hide behind the DP essentially. Like it's like, okay, well, if Death Prophet continues to look north, I'll just sit right behind her. That's the one way I know the wave isn't coming, and that was a smart play. But in the end, he just gets distance as the bottom line. And we're gonna see Buckets Forever pop this Exorcism down bottom, try to finish off with bottom tier 1. But this is a potential for Global and Chrono. The Void is already here. The Silencer obviously doesn't need to be in position for the Chronosphere, so he's just going to go to tier 2. They're going to follow up the Chronosphere with the Global Silence. Buckets Forever already getting nuked down heavily, and there are no spells to be cast. EMP comes out. Now Moo has no mana left, and he can't. Oh, he gets a big Magic Wand. A lot of help from Whitebeard too. Will it be enough to turn this back around? Rain taking some major damage from that Chaos Bolt, and now we're going to see Evernova on the run. Derp Derp getting hit down. Will be finished off by Moo, and now Moo himself will be taking a spill. Jo is heavy in strength, has no agi whatsoever, waving away as best he can, but the Morphling just can't do, the Wisp just can't do enough to keep him alive. First they'll kill off Whitebeard, next they'll kill off Jo, but in the meantime Hook has taken lots of damage that he will time walk away just barely. EMP will finish off the Morphling, and that will be a total of 4 heroes going down, as Death Prophet was the first to fall. But what about Fluff? Gonna go for the TP. Cold Snap's gonna cancel it, and they will get a 5th kill. Silencer devours the intelligence. He is the smartest man alive. Magneto here with 22 plus int.
Unreal. 11 out of the 14 he's managed to make his way into.
This is going to be such a strong Silencer. Like, this is the game where you love to be a Silencer. He's got Midas early on. He's got been involved in so many fights. He's 3-0 and 8. I'd love to talk about the other heroes, but soon enough, it's going to be all about the Silencer.
Oh, he's offering way more than just global. Like that's kind of what you think of when you go for this pick to combo up with the Chrono. Is they did have a nice execution down bottom where they dumped it down right after the Chrono was ending. But on top of that, now he's got himself his Midas. He can go into the treads if he wants, and he's a serious right clicker. He already hits for 98. He's got enough range to sit outside that Chrono and start wailing on top of people. And who even needs Rain, honestly? Like, he's got his boots of travel, so he'll be joining some of these fights, but it's all about Mercy Please right now. Like, he's 300 gold behind the Ember.
So we're going to see the jump here onto mid, trying to get one more kill for themselves. The EMP under the steering chains, and it's going to be the death of Monkeys Forever. More intelligence for the Silencer, but Hex will come out onto Moo. He's going to still get the pullback. Oh, misses it. Now gets it on Derp Derp, and he will bring him down. But there's 4 heroes here. There's a time dilation onto 2, and it is going to be the relocate back. to the top lane where they originated. So Hook goes back in, 2-man Chronosphere, Whitebeard TP, but he really can't do anything with Tether still on cooldown due to Hook's time dilation. That's going to be another kill. And even Moo is kind of in an awkward position here as the Tornado EMP is now available. He goes for the Rift. Fog of War really hurting him, but there's the EMP Tornado just on the Wisp. It's going to hurt Whitebeard quite a bit, though, if Hook looks to pursue. Just time dilates on 2, and that's actually going to set up the Ember Spirit for some massive damage here. Jo waves across, but is now silenced, and Morphing Strength, he has no damage left. They can just focus down the Wisp CK, but here comes Monkeys Forever trying to do what he can. We'll just drop a bunch of Spirit Siphons before getting nuked by the finger. He is 1 versus 5. Moo trying to even the score. It's going to be a massive Grip Swarm to bring down the Invoker and bring a lot low, but Moo has to armlet toggle just to get himself back in. Great Reality Rift finishing off the Chaos, or the Ember Spirit. And now they're going to exercise this tier 1. Oh my gosh, what a back and forth fight. 3 for 4 in total. The Silencer living through it all. And Archon just trying to get something out of it in the end.
Moo, he's not even done it. He's making so much out of nothing here. And I don't think I've ever seen a fight that showed the power of time dilation, at least in this, you know, the new Reworked Void, as much as that fight did. There were so many situations where that fight should have been completely over for Archon. It felt like they were going to just take it. Moo was in such great positions, but he couldn't keep these consecutive low cooldowns down. Like 6 seconds on Reality Rift, there's a big reason it scales so well. It's the main point of the skill, you know? Constantly repositioning, constantly snagging and grabbing whoever you want with these massive armlet smokes of damage. But all the positioning from Hook, he got so many great time dilations on. The range is so big that, you know, it's not the hardest thing ever, but very impressive stuff now. Is Rain, how much trouble is he in up here? He's got a Remnant. Are they on it? Oh, no, okay. I thought, oh, is that his only?
Well, he's...
It's hard to tell if it's like underneath him. Is that his only Remnant? It is!
Oh boy.
Rain's done.
They'll just stay right on top of it. They'll finish it off. The Morphling pressures them hard enough, and then he has to make the jump back. Doesn't even have vision in that area thanks to the recent Ember nerf. So, yeah, I didn't see it coming until it was already too late. And that is going to be 13 to 18. The kill score starting to tip back towards Archon.
That was you know, a little bit of a nerf there, eh? While you're getting the vision on top of your Remnants is, you know, one of those reasons the hero did fall off, and proving why right there. And, well, after that big, brutal engagement mid, it kind of turns into one of those games where your cores end up all being a little bit further behind what you might expect just because of all the brawls and everything that we are experiencing in this game. So, Monkey's here. He's got it finally coming out now. It will be the fully completed Yule Scepter, and that can just change so many fights around, especially when you're dealing with the Faceless Void, because if you throw up that Exorcism, which, first off, already been doing a great job of popping that, but Monkey's knowing, like, when it's going to happen. You know you're either going to get Chrono to silence, so you got to use it. His Stalker's approaching here soon, but...
Yeah, he held on to it a little bit long at the end of that last fight. I felt like even when he was in that kind of 1v4 position, he could have used it, but he didn't need it. It's just with the massive damage coming out from the CK and from the DP herself with the short cooldown on Crypt Swarm. But they're going to be all moving towards the tier 2 mid, while looks like Evernova are focused, fixated on this tier 1 bottom. It's going to be glyphed, but otherwise it's a lot easier to claim with that low HP. So glyphs traded, one will be refreshed, but I feel like Evernova have the wherewithal to try to make this happen. They already have 2 in play. Again, global presence is huge from the Silencer. He's already level 11, so the global could be great, but with Monkeys Forever popping the Exorcism, it's not going to be the easiest fight. There is that Yule Scepter, as you mentioned, which is great against global, great against time dilation, even great against the Chronosphere itself. So it's not going to be too easy to pin down this Death Prophet, and they'll just leave it at that, keeping their tier 2 intact.
I'm a little bit worried here from when this level 2 Phantasm comes out too as well. You know, the Armlet as well, and now moving into his BKB. I don't think it's on the Courier. No, yeah, so still a ways to go in here for Moon. Oh, he gets a very nice Invis rune. It pops their smoke too.
My.
Detective Moo is on the case. Are they going to relocate anyone else in is the question. It's a little bit too risky.
I think it's impossible. I mean, the Chronosphere could easily just come out, and then the fight is just pretty much a disaster. He's still going to go in hard, but can definitely try to change the fate of Derp here. Global Silence is going to come out too late, though. The response is just not appropriate. They definitely could have blown one ultimate and saved the life of the Lion, but now we see the Invoker ghost walking away as quick as he can. Ember Spirit will clean up the Wisp, who's already dropped very low to that EMP Tornado, but... well, Moo is down in armlet health range. The Morphling is low as well, so Archon kind of just in retreat after that pickoff. Oh, Jo not too happy about this one. Gets silenced by the Orchid. He's hit by the Cold Snap pretty heavily. They can... Oh, the time dilation does barely connect onto him. That's going to be the only waveform he gets, but he's going to be able to get away nevertheless.
That was... I guess maybe they just don't want to commit the chrono with the lion there, feeling that it might still not be enough damage, I suppose. It seems worth it to me.
Yeah, that was my instinct. It was just, okay, Chrono Spirit, and then you get the response, you get everybody to reposition, but it is a valuable cooldown. It is 115 seconds, and he says Lion is not a valuable. But Moo actually going to go hard onto Rain here, who does have a Remnant in the exact same place, but it will be enough to get him out this time around.
It's all about that efficiency of coming back, you know. He's got to make sure he can get the maximum damage on top of creeps when he's using these remnants. And he is moving to the Battle Fury, but now the mid lane, Derp in trouble.
Yeah, he's going to get the finger out beforehand, so that is going to be the death of the fluff and stuff. Great Chronosphere onto 3, massive damage from this Void as far as disables go, but we do see Ember Spirit having to be the one to clean it up. Only gets chains on 1. That's still going to be pretty important. Hook, can he get the time walk? Not in time. He gets nuked down, and the Relocate will take the CK back to safety. So in the meantime, though, Monkeys Forever, a little bit exposed. Rain looking for it, gets silenced, but I think he can still is in range for this chain combo, and he will connect with it. But Invoker doesn't have EMP for just 5 seconds, and they're not going to risk it until now. Now they can go for the Urn Cold Snap. They could try to turn this if they wanted to, but in mid is where more drastic action is happening. It's going to be Derp going down quickly. Now that EMP going here, the self-fuels onto Death Prophet to dodge it, and Monkeys Forever will hold his ground. TP away from the Ember Spirit, going to be successful. But they did lose the Lion in mid. These fights are just all over the place, man. Just dragging out, a lot of exchanges, and just a quick side note. I've never seen so many heroes level 11. I think we had 6 level 11 heroes at the same time in this game.
Would you say the fights are rather chaotic?
Oh boy, that is...
I would say so. And it's like every time Moo and Whitebeard are just going one direction. The rest of the team are going somewhere else. And they're just jumping around all over the place. You got that relocate save. That was a nice play, too. I didn't think he was going to get off with the time dilations, but, you know, can't stop the IO balls going. Yeah, I mean, saving all those allies.
I mean, I guess you could say that Chaos is really one of the fundamental parts of Archon's strategy.
Well said. Well put.
All right, so, man, we need an all fundamental lineup. We need to get everybody in there, Enigma and Coddle and everybody just having a ball. We need those heroes buffed just so we can see them all 4 together. Create some super mega fundamental. But we're going to see instead a swap attempt here, Global Silence, and responding to the relocate. And now they're kind of caught in a rough spot because in 12 seconds, well, at least one hero will be leaving the fight, and Fluff and stuff might just be dead already. The Orchid's going to bring him very low, but he's not going to die just yet. Derp finished off with 1 more hit, but Moo pops the BKB. Monkeys Forever commits the Exorcism, and they're just going to try to get away with that. They need to get the Blink Dagger on Mercy, please, to make this okay. And he's not going to get it. Hits through the fog, continues to pursue, and finish him off. In the meantime, looks like Morphling wanted a piece of the Ember Spirit, but doesn't have the burst damage to really do anything more than poke him back.
I'm interested that they actually went mid here. I wondered if they were going to go, because they'd have duration Exorcism right at the Roshan pit. And maybe it's just that if they do get it, actually no, it definitely goes on Moo, I think. I don't think you put it on Jo. He's in no position.
Yeah, I don't think Aegis is that big right now. It's going to be much more important like 40 minutes in this game, but right now, like you said, the Morphling's not farmed. The CK and the DP are all about their ultimates, which they don't take with them with their Aegis. And just it's more about map control than anything else. If they can dominate the map by taking the tier 2s, I'd say that's as valuable as Roshan, if not more so.
Oh yeah, for sure. Every time they have relocate as well, and they're also pretty pleased the fact that you get to burn the Global Silence and still get to keep your relocate obviously having the lower cooldown. So they'll be looking for some sort of play here and still chipping away at that battlefield. You know, he's second highest in his team, but he's still 3k here in behind Moo, who now finishing up that BKB as well as obviously having his armlet. Courier, no, it's heading to the secret shop. We'll see. Does he just go like straight heart, you know, or go back?
Yeah, you can still go drums. I think you got the item slots for the drum. You already have the bracer. Sell the wand, then go for the heart. I think that's the play. But we're going to see Invoker caught out here. Very nice swap, stun combo. This is going to be a quick kill with no real answer. Even if the global was there, I don't think it really helps that much.
No, the second the Rift comes out, it just feels like there's nothing you can do. The Rift or the swap in that case, rather.
Yeah.
Derp, he is just, this is the one thing about Lion, and we see this all the time, is that, you know, he's so used to being that greedy support, without the blink, he just doesn't seem as potent as we usually see. Mercy Please, obviously, the one who's getting all the farm when it comes to support gold to the side of Evernova. And
Oh, wow.
There you go.
The Morphling actually didn't get any damage, so he does get to blink away, but the Yules will come through, and Silencer will not only lose his ultimate, but also lose his life.
Oh, that opens up so much for them too. You see the immediate ping onto Roshan. Like, let's go. Like, why wait for anything else? That's all they really needed. And not having available, no -2s if they end up losing a couple there.
Yeah,
And they're gonna have Phantasm.
there's less risk, and what? No, I don't think
Oh, I was gonna say they're gonna have Phantasm for like afterwards.
Okay, I was about to say, but no, yeah, they have Exorcism. They aren't really afraid because there's no Battle Fury yet on the Ember. If there was, like the double Sleight of Fist in the Chrono, it makes it a little tough, but no, without having to worry about that, they can easily take this. They can. Looks like they are going to give it to Morphling, even though, like we've talked about, he's not that big. It's still going to be probably better on him than anybody else. And from there, they have 5 minutes of map control, not only from the 2 Tier 2 towers they have claimed, but just in general with the fact that they cannot be contested. And I actually find interest in this Blink Dagger pickup. Essentially, you have to make the comparison Blink versus Drums, about the same gold value, going to take up the same item slot in my mind. So what do you think about this new mobility tool?
It's probably, hopefully, going to be able to offer up something, you know, in terms of the better positioning, trying to get it all done. The big blink that, you know, you feel like you really need is got to be the one that's going to be coming out on top of that Faceless Void. Like, there's so many moments in these fights where I'm just thinking, like, where's the Chrono? Like, why isn't he chronoing right now? Where is it? And I keep forgetting that this range on the Time Walk is just so minimal compared to what it used to be. So, yeah, obviously now Mu having his Blink Dagger, it's going to make it even tougher because before you had to get in position for the Chrono, the BKB was being popped, you had to worry about. And, oh, geez.
He
So
doesn't
much
have any more
mobility here.
remnants to help him out. They're just going to need a little bit of movement speed, and they're going to be able to run him down. They're not going to be able to support him. Rain is going down. The Blink up to the high ground, already showing what it can do more than Drums of Endurance, as he just looks to make those quick jumps on the Ember Spirit. Later on, Ember with the Lincolns, maybe a BKB, or honestly, just freaking better remnant placements, and it wouldn't be as big of a deal, but it's so far he's been always keeping one remnant like only a screen away, if that, from those positions. Hex on mid, we're going to see Derp actually eat the bitter end of it, and that's going to be a failed solo kill attempt.
And Mu has just been all over this map, honestly. And now having the Blink Dagger, of course, is going to be even more prominent, but he's been exactly where he needs to be every time, whether it be through relocates or just these really nice plays where he's been sneaking up along some back lines. You know, we saw him coming back in with almost no HP with his armlet as well.
Yeah.
He's having a very standout game. Certainly the most impressive one, at least for this game. And I mean, maybe that's kind of unfair to Jo because he doesn't have much of an opportunity with the lane that's given to him, but Mu's making the most of what they gave him.
Yeah, so we got to see, like, at Starlighter, for example, a very unique laning configuration where it was the offlaner that kind of gets nothing out of the first 10 minutes, so I guess I'll have to hold that, because I just feel it's flip-flopped a bit since then, but we'll go ahead and take a look at this siege first and foremost. We're going to see up top, they're splitting it up a little bit with Jo, putting pressure there, so they're going to force at least one hero to respond, and this is the best way to siege against Chronosphere, to have one hero in one lane that's too mobile to contest, and then another force in the opposite lane, so that you're always getting siege damage in. Worst case Chrono is a swap out and the Venge dies. You trade Chronosphere for swap, or you trade Global plus Chronosphere for a single hero and you're still sieging that other lane. So it's going to be a tough position here. We are going to see that Chrono. There is going to be that Global Silence. There is going to be no swap, but can they actually burst down Monkeys? He's got the Yules, but he has no life. So it looks like that's going to be a swap forward onto Hook, who just time walks away. Now Fluff and Stuff sacrifices himself to the Dire base, and that's going to be Ember Spirit finished up Battle Fury and free to farm.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Alright,
attack.
well, maybe a little bit of a miscommunication there in terms of Fluff diving on in there. You saw the blink from Mu was just a hair too late, and I gotta say, I was feeling the pressure there on Hook. I thought he was gonna go back to base and sell his Poor Man's Shield to get, okay, now he's just gonna sell it anyway. Alright, well, you could have just done that head blink for that fight, but whatever, that's fine. I thought he was gonna go back and get it before it all went down, but he still manages to get a very good Chrono on top of the Death Prophet, bring her down near the end of the Exorcism. And before, like, the Archon just wasn't in a position to really defend her.
This Lincoln Sphere is going to make it too difficult for the Invoker to really go. He can Cold Snap and then go for the Orchid, but Cheo's not taking the little stuns. He's not taking too much damage, but he does lose his mana to the EMP. So reinforcements are arriving. Boo, ready to rumble. There is a Ghost Walk. Is there detection in time? It looks like they won't be able to burst him down. The Sentry came out, but it's already too late. Wexing it up. He's moving rapidly back across the map, and he will be okay. Could you imagine if, like, the full spirits were out for Whitebeard? Could you imagine?
way.
Could you imagine? No, it's going to be a haste truth. If he had all the spirits all the way out right there, he would have just set up essentially a security fence that the Invoker would just get zapped as he tries to run through. But no, it's no game of Frogger here. We get to see Invoker skirt himself away, back to full HP, and now he's doing his job. He's trying to look for pickoffs. He's forcing response from Archon, but the problem is Archon's 5-man is so strong they have no reason to hesitate. So they will take some hits here. Jo already used his waveform, so that's a really smart Tornado EMP from Let Me Go.
Yeah, he's obviously having the Aegis, you know, gives him a second life, but you're basically gimping this first one so heavily.
Yeah.
And now Mook just waiting. But yeah, it feels like he needs the biggest chrono of his life right here, and it can't. I don't feel like it can be here because they're going to be too ready for that. It has to be some sort of a back angle that he needs to find, but they don't have the vision for it. If you swap over to Dire
Oh, this is good though. 3-man if he gets the blink, but they aren't looking to follow it. Like they had the Nether swap in there. They had the Venge as well, so that could have been a 3-man chrono with the blink dagger in. But you have to make sure that the Lion's ready to commit as well, because obviously the Ember Spirit's always in range. The Invoker can get there quickly, but the Derp was pretty far back, and you need not only the global but that Earth Spike as well as the follow through. So just comes down to that. We're gonna see that ward taken care of, but in the end, they're not gonna force anything if they can just hold the line. They know that with the Battle Fury high ground defense, they know that with the late game of heroes like Invoker, Void, and Silencer, they've got so much potential. So they're not gonna go for the overtly aggressive play when Archon are already tempted to back off.
Yeah, I gotta say though, with the total strength of everything, like if the it looks like it'll be the Mantis first, at least here for Moo, judging by the fact that he has the ultimate orb or whatever else he wants to go for.
Yeah.
But if he get that hard up, like it's only 200% damage taken on those Phantasms, obviously, which is something that kind of gets looked over a lot of the time. So when you're considering the cleave and everything that's coming out from Rain, who's going to be one of the major ways they do deal with them, besides obviously Lion, a big help in these situations in terms of the mana drain, the Hex, and etc. But you've got to be a little bit worried as to the overall damage he can really get in this position. He's got the crit, but it's going to take a lot to chunk down these illusions.
Honestly, if I had to really delve into it, like the real details of this item build and progression, I would say that he's probably not going to find much value in Heart now that he's going for the Manta style for an extended period of time. The reason I say that is because if you're getting Heart right now with instead of this ultimate orb, you're going to be at a point where the Ember Spirit only has Crystallis instead of Daedalus, and they're going to be able to survive through everything. Later down the road, the Daedalus crits, the Ember Spirit gets more damage, the Lion might have an Aghanim's, you never know. The CK Illusion's just raw durability isn't as important as the utility of the CK as he's been bringing. So what I would say is Manta, then Diffusal, and then turn the Armlet into a Heart. And that's going to be a possibility, but we see right now the stun opener. Wow, a crit that will just take out this Invoker with just no chance of surviving. This is a very squishy Arsenal Magus if just they get the opening, and that Blink Dagger presented the opportunity once again. So they're going to make their siege up top. There's not that much split pressure coming in. There is going to be a buyback. They're saying, please, I'm buying back. Take my gold. Don't take my base. But here they are ready to go for the racks.
917 damage on that right click.
And the Ember Spirit has no BOTs for 13 seconds. Oh my, they can just go in. I mean, yes, the illusion
he's in there all right. Oh, he got him again with another crit. Oh, he gosh.
Oh, Void's down, has to buy back 2. Moo pops to BKB, goes for another Reality Rift, brings Derp down.
God.
Global does nothing. Moo just runs over their base. Who cares about his next 3 items? He can slaughter them all now. They have forced 3 buybacks. They have taken the mid lane. They have just absolutely destroyed Evernova's potential here in the mid game. Oh man, that was just so much damage from this Chaos Knight. When you get a little lucky with that passive, and of course when you have your entire Phantasm ready to go, you can just do so much work. We usually look for like the attack speed boost from the Wisp to really give CK some potency with his auto attacks, but if he could just find that Blink Dagger and he can use the Reality Rift to pull the entire Illusion army with him, and he can go from target to target with no trouble at all.
Yeah, I gotta say, it is rather hilarious too, because now he's gonna have the Manta. It's just like every single time, it's just one less tool that's like Derp's Hex and his manager, and of course gonna mana less and less. At least it is maxed out, so the 4-second cooldown gonna be a pretty big deal. And he just needs to try and keep himself alive to try and deal with them, but with no Blink Dagger, he's gonna be feeling the pressure.
All right, so we've got 1 lane of racks. Evernova right now very far behind and realizing and just fearing these carries. The Morphling's starting to come online in a significant way. The Chaos Knight's already there by far, and Evernova don't have an answer. They have this kind of like little wombo combo if the Daedalus is finished by Rain, but one stun connecting on the Void means he's dead. They have no response other than chronoing on top of him, as we see already how much damage the CK can do just when he's in range.
I just can't go to those crits, man. I'm just watching. I even turned on the streams. I want to see that 917 to get on the Invoker. It's unreal. Like, you're taking away 70% of his HP in a single blow with no other allies even around. And that Daedalus is done, though, of course. So maybe the next Roshan fight, if they can actually set up, maybe have the Invoker, they've got a little bit of vision provided. If it's something that Archon end up going for, perhaps it'll provide some sort of an opportunity with the Chronosphere and the Global Silence. It's,
oh, what are all these illusions? Illusion Rune plus Manta style. CK is not the only one with an army. It's not the 4 horsemen. It's the 4 water elementals moving in. Gonna start pushing the mid lane so that as soon as they take Roche, they can start moving forward. Either going for bottom for the kind of pincer, where they get 2 lanes hitting at once. But okay, we'll hold that thought and make sure this Roche goes as securely as I once thought. Hook has that blink. He has the ability to go in, but they need
Look
vision.
at his positioning, though. This is really nice.
Like, how do you actually find somebody, especially Fluff and stuff, if you get that swap? Ether swap on Jo is going to bail him out of any bad spot. And they just can't go in. They have no vision. Moo's going in. He gets hexed, but it's a very short one. Again, now they're going to go in for the Chronosphere. On to 2 heroes. On to Fluff. On to Monkeys, who is the prime target. Relocate does not work. Whitebeard tethers into the relocate. He can't bail out, but there's the self-fuels. There's the swap back. Monkeys forever survives through it all. And now Hook is caught on the high ground here. CK a little bit distracted elsewhere. It's in death, and we're going to be seeing the supports actually try to gun down the Faceless Void. Time Walk comes out, though. He is getting some distance, will get the blink to safety just narrowly. Whitebeard, where are your spirits at? But in the end, we still see that the Roshan was claimed, that the Aegis was picked up by Morphling, and that Jo is still ready to carry his team in the CK's absence.
Yeah, that Chronosphere was absolutely perfectly placed, though. Like, intentionally not getting the Chaos Knight inside just because of the distance it was able to provide from Whitebeard. Like, he could not find an angle to tether towards over on top of the CK and allow, like, perhaps the Vengeful Spirit, like, in a sense, to try and stick behind with Death Prophet. It was just really well done and allowed them to bring down Mu, who has really been the whole kind of clutch hero so far. And as you mentioned, though, Jo, he has finally started to come online, and he has another massive bout of gold here ready to go. So we'll see. Probably just going to head into the E-Blade, do you think?
I definitely has that option. I could just go carry mode at this point. Butterfly's fine too. There's plenty of options for him at this stage in the game. We'll see what he kind of considers. But I do have a question for you in that engagement. Like, yes, they did bring down Boo. That's a huge kill on this Chaos Knight. It offered them 800 gold on just the Ember Spirit and plenty of assists as well. But if they had just focused the Death Prophet instead of maybe splitting their damage on the CK, I think that they could have killed her off extremely early, taken the exorcism out of the picture, and then still focus the CK effectively. Oh, the
well,
vision, the swap,
no time
stun, and I want to buy crits. Hook going right on top of him. Gets one time walk, will be okay. He chronos it just to be sure. That's an unfortunate cooldown that we're gonna have to wait for. Actually, do you think the Invoker has the spells to hold now? Like, this is a 96-second time period where Evernova have no real tools to defend. Rain can start pushing top, but he can't take the racks himself.
He's like a walking time dilation now. Yeah, he just has no way he's going to be able to offer anything. He had no buyback anyway, so, I mean, if he died, then there's no hope of it either. But that's a massive dent to their potential defense.
Yeah, well, Ember Spirit will take the tier 3, but he's going to have to bounce back now. And with it, Jo now caught. Of course, with the Aegis, he's very confident just to stay up here, soak up some damage. More of a little bit of strength. He doesn't want to get too crazy. He'll go maybe 50-50, but with his first life, he doesn't want to go too hard into the HP pool. Still, hearing CK. Whoa, I'm having trouble keeping track of him. He goes in hard, blinks in, gets the rift, but Ember Spirit dodges it out with a very nice Remnant play, and the Global will kind of halt his offensive. Still, though, they've taken the bottom lane. Hook still doesn't have that Chronosphere, so unless we see some amazing spell casting, it's going to be Archon to just walk away with that every time. But this time they didn't get the slaughter. They didn't get 3 buybacks and all the hero kills you would ask for, but they got what they wanted. They got the bottom lane, and they can leave with that.
I don't know. They'll have the Chronosphere, I suppose, for the next defense, but Archon not pushing it too hard, taking their time. And the E-Blade, it's gonna be firing out here.
Yep, so essentially just going for the quick pick on heroes like Lion, who has actually no raw HP whatsoever. Like, this is where you want Glimmer Cape and 2 bracers, treads, something like that, but no, it's in a position where he's running on Tranquil Boots and a Wand. He's not going to be able to survive the E-Blade combo. And Silencer will be able to, but he'll be obviously hurting as a result of it.
I'm just so impressed by Mood this game, honestly. This isn't something you see all too often. He created all the space here on top of Jo. And what, like, I'm trying to think here, like, what really went wrong? Like, he had this Invoker. He had a pretty good time, honestly. He's still 8, 5, and 10. Obviously, the kill score is still relatively close. Maybe it's just the fact that the Ember Spirit came online just so late. And one rack's down, and you're starting to get up these Datalists and all this gold in your Boots of Travels, and maybe even the Blink Dagger. And that seems okay, but once you're reaching like 2 racks down, he's now going for the Rapier. He's got the Relic.
Oh, well, may not have time to build it up, though. Mercy Please has already lost 2/3 of his HP. Arcane Curse doesn't mean squat right now, and we're going to have to see the Ember Spirit do some amazing work with it and get some really good crits as well. Jayo's still on the front line here with the Aegis. The creep wave is here, but they've just barely dodged out all those cleave attacks, so the Sleight of Fist means very little. And you've always got that Wisp to back you up too, but where is CK? He's always making these flanking positions, and now he's going to look for the blink in, jumping onto Derp. Boom! Goes the right click, and he takes Lion out with 2 hits. Hook does drop the Chronosphere, but Jail just strength morphs through all of it. They timed it so the Aegis is gone, but the Finger of Death gets blocked by the Lincoln Sphere, and he waves away. Maybe to die to the Arcane Curse, we'll see. For now, Monkeys Forever will get caught inside the Tornado in the Silence combo. He is going down, and that is going to be Archon on the run, but they have taken the Mega Creeps. They have taken all 6 barracks, no matter how many heroes die here. And Morphling did, in fact, survive narrowly.
30 HP.
He actually went full strength and barely survived. That was so close. But anyways, it doesn't matter how many cures you get in return. It doesn't matter how many stacks of intelligence Mercy Please gets, because they're down against Mega Creeps, and only the Ember Spirit can deal with that directly. And it's only a matter of time before suddenly he gets jumped by the CK.
That's my brain. All the buffs and changes to the Lincoln Sphere. The fact that it's only the 13-second cooldown, it's still so hard to deal with. Like, you would imagine that it's you know, you're just like, okay, somebody's cast a spell, then I'm gonna figure him to death. But as the fights start to drag out, they're getting longer and longer. You eventually lose track of it, and I think it's surprisingly short to a lot of people. I mean, yeah, it's just a desperation finger to just hope that it's off cooldown, but so certainly saving his life there. And I don't know, it's Rapier gaming, but it's Mega Creeps. If only just slightly sooner, perhaps.
Yeah. I think there definitely was some possibility there if Ember and Void over-execute and are able to get that key item pickup a little bit sooner, but as it stands, it just seems like it's been too late, and Moo will just go straight for that hard anyways. Like, he's just like, raw HP is fine. I don't care if I get globaled, if I get time dilated. I've got the Manta and the BKB for that, and he'll just go hard. I mean, at this point, all he has to do is pop the Phantasms, throw him at some buildings. It's already Evernova that are losing structural damage by the minute, and it's going to be Archon to go in for the jugular here.
It's with all the positioning they've had so far this game too, it seems unlikely that you're going to end up with one of these 5-man chronos into Sleight of Fist, you know, and trying to actually chunk them all down and using that cleave. They just haven't provided the opportunity for that, which is something that I think maybe is a big impact when you're drafting the Faceless Void in terms of like how you've seen other teams respond to it. But even at the highest tier, like this hero is still considered first pick for a span. We saw it all the way through to the end of MDL, so it's not necessarily like a team thing. It's not just like, oh well, as long as like they know how to play against Faceless Void, so we can't pick it at all. But certainly some players, some teams, they do shine better against and with it.
Yeah.
And then Archon just showing that off so well, especially in the latter half of this game.
Yeah, it's definitely as much about how the Faceless Void team plays around the Faceless Void as it is about how their opposition plays against it, and you just have to be on the next level. But right now, Archon just kind of treating this concave around Evernova, and it's not going to be easy for them to hold this. Obviously, that's an understatement of the century right now. They are so far behind, but The biggest thing is just how easy it is for Mu to get in. This Blink Dagger pickup, I wasn't 100% sure about it at first because it's not something that we very commonly see, and often you look at the Wisp as kind of like he can even use a relocate to kind of pseudo-blink him in if he needs that repositioning, but it's done wonders for him. Like, I have the ability to zoom out and a full caster's point of view, and I'm losing track of him in the fights. It's so damn difficult for their opponents to know exactly where he's at and about who he's about to two-shot. It's just...
Well, especially because they don't know which illusion's which.
Yeah, it's just...
and to add that on top.
There is a real chaos factor here, and it's just making it very difficult for them to do anything about Mu, who essentially snowballed this game. Like, he got so many opportunities up top. They were able to dive the tower a ton of times, and although the Morphling struggled, it's definitely... It's them just biding their time until everybody's back online. And this goes back to something I was going to talk about before, I think even the first set of racks fell, and that's in Star Ladder. We got to see a lot of teams, especially Alliance, prioritizing farm on their carry for the first 10 to 15 minutes, and then the offlaner switched and took farm priority. And so we saw that a lot on lone druid offlanes and things of that nature. This is the exact opposite. They're giving the offlaner more priority, they're giving them more opportunities, and the traditional safe laner, the Morphling, is the one that gets shafted, and then he gets to bounce back later. How do you feel about that? What do you think kind of brought about this change?
I don't know. It seems to be a kind of a team thing. It's just something that they've been looking at perhaps a little bit more in the... that was very 6.84 as well. Like, we used to see that in basically every game from Team Secret was probably the biggest proponent of it, where they would give Misery safe lane and sacrifice EE. That tended to end a little bit earlier, though. Whereas, like, Mu... Like, Jo kind of got sacrificed for, like, a long time. Like, maybe it's just also the nature of his hero, but... he didn't come online until much later, and a lot of the game provided for running on the back of Mu instead, and being on something that provides a lot more damage than your traditional Misery heroes, though it did kind of allow for that, especially with the IO. So I don't know, maybe other teams are watching this, maybe they're kind of seeing this idea and thinking that it is still more of a viable thing than other than just, okay, here's your Iron Talon, go jungle.
Absolutely. So we'll see as time goes by how things adapt, but for right now, Archon, they've taken full control. They've taken Roshan. They've got their heart. They've got their Aegis. They've got 2 hearts. Why not? And at this point, it's all about just picking up the Ember Spirit. As soon as he dies, the game is done for Evernova. Even if he buybacks, which he does not even have, it's all about that first rapier. It's all about his first life. And they have so many vectors. They have so many angles of attack. They're going to come in, invisible, smoked up, jump in hard, going to get the stun just on the Invoker, which is fine if they can kill him quickly. But Mu is taking a lot of damage, gets fingered, gets hit by that crit. But he's still alive, still kicking, just going to walk away and get that heart back in play. And Morphling just goes for the tier 4s, just goes for the throne. Monkey's Forever still alive, still has the cheese, and will pop it here as they try to go in on the Ember Spirit. Can they get him in time? E-Blade whiffs from Jo, and there's going to be a nice stun from the Lion. Now Hook coming in, trying to do some good time dilation action, and there's going to be a good meteor as well. Jo's taking some hits, but the throne is the real target here. While the CK and the Morphling are both very low, the Morphling will come back with full HP. Mercy, please, gets caught, gets locked into the Reality Rift, but the throne still stands. Derp going to be killed off on the back line by Jo. Can he actually get the E-Blade out on a Hook as well? Trying to burst him, trying to surprise him. Adapt the strike will finish the job, and they're going to go in. They're going to beat down the Dire Ancient to a pulp, and that's going to be a 48-minute victory for Archon here in the BTS Series Americas number 3.
Well, I'm pretty thankful that Roshan spawn came out after only 30 seconds, or we would have been here a little bit while longer, waiting for that one to happen. And they walk on in. I like the way that Jo played that. Just walks on one side, starts hitting these towers, and they got a little scary there though. Those creeps coming in. I was getting a little bit worried with the cleave and the rapier, but Archon, it's fine. I mean, come on, let's be honest here. That's a pretty rough game to come back from, and yeah, I gotta say, obviously Archon, that very heavy favorites, 88% or 84%, so 80% something, either way. Very impressed from Evernova. You gotta be happy you took a game off. Yeah, maybe they qualified to Shanghai. They're not playing their, quote unquote, top tier Dota or something along those lines, but they put up a good show, and they showed they can at least, take a game off and compete against someone like Archon.
Absolutely. They were able to bring a lot, especially that game 2. We got to see some new life in them, and they definitely aren't the kind of team that will go down without a fight. They're going to bring their own unique style. There were a few questionable plays there. Don't want to call anybody out too hard, but I will look and examine Rain's positioning, the fact that he had level 1 Blink on Anti-Mage for a long time, the fact that Ember Spirit had his remnants within arm's reach for most of the game when he was farming. I feel like he's not fully taking advantage of the mobility tools, but when he learns to optimize in that capacity, he obviously showed a lot of potential in just his overall skill usage this game, and this match. So looking forward to seeing more from the team as a whole. Derp captained it up. Kudos to you for finding a squad that will to suit your fancy. Hopefully they are able to continue onward, even though in this case the single elimination tournament will subject them to elimination and they're going to be knocked out. But Archon moving forward, we'll have to see who their opponents are going to be in the round of 8 though, as we're going to be going into our next match. I believe that's Power of Friendship versus Swag. So we're going to be seeing those guys coming up and battling out in a best of 3 series here in just a few minutes on the stream. Once again, thank you to MotPax for joining me here for the best of 3 series. An absolute pleasure to have you, man. You can follow him at MotPax, and then you can also follow me at BlazeCasting if you so choose. But of course, that's going to wrap it up for this best of 3. 2-1 is going to be the Archon victory. And the stream is actually going to be dropping for about 3 minutes or so, or maybe less, depends on the timing between Dakota and I. But Kato Guy is going to be bringing up the broadcast from his side of the country, and we're going to be bringing you guys that best of 3 series here to close out the night. So stay tuned. The channel will drop, the stream will drop, but we'll be back very shortly for the next match to close out the night here for the BTS Americas Series number 3. Thanks.